look, we'll get there where the goal. Let me be clear about what the goal is. The goal is for us to have the time to hear from witnesses. The goal is for us to do that in an efficient manner, not to hold up good legislation, but to improve it, and to do it in a way. I know that it may seem funny to others on the other side, but it's an important piece of legislation, and we need to do our part.
The question. Some of the firearms I've already spoken about fall into that G4 category in that paragraph, to be potentially prohibited if this legislation passes under C21. And are you saying that they're not going to be impacted by this legislation, or are you saying that they are going to be impacted by the legislation?
I'm saying neither. What I said was, in your response to the question whether you're on the list, I answered whether they were on the list or not. The impact of the evergreening clause, the semi-automatic centerfire clause that you mentioned earlier, was not part of the question and not part of the answer either. Okay,
well, let's keep going, because I think we're looking for clear answers today, and we're still not getting them. I think law-abiding firearms owners know that they're going to be included by that paragraph, and for you to kind of say, well, no.
Point of order, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, point of order. Statements made by the member are speculative. The amendments or any changes that might be contemplated for that schedule have not been dealt with, as been mentioned earlier. So it's an inappropriate comment.
We've also heard from extreme views.
From many of your members saying that gun ownership should be a right, like as a property right. And I've also heard, unfortunately, and I think it is most unfortunate, some of your members suggesting that they need to carry those weapons for personal protection. That's not the law in Canada.
Who have chosen to turn this into a culture war, bringing racism, bringing misogyny, bringing all kinds of other vitriol and hate into this conversation. And the emails that some of them send are a reminder of why some people, frankly, should not have firearms. But does not mean that they represent the vast majority of gun owners in this country, and I want to make that very clear. And I think that those that choose to use racism and misogyny and, call...
Tracy, I think a really good question you might ask is ask of the people who choose to arm themselves with those weapons when they're engaging in activities of mass.
I don't speak to mass murderers, so I don't have that opportunity.
But look at, the choice they make is rather clear. The AR-15 that you just mentioned is overwhelmingly the first weapon of choice for people who have engaged in those.
It's the most common rifle in the world, of course.
And it's also overwhelmingly the most common weapon used by mass murderers.
So not in Canada. And in the United States, they've had the overwhelming majority of multiple victim public shootings that occurs in the United States actually occurs with handguns, but the AR-15 has been used, but there's 10 to 12 million of them in circulation.
These types of tropes actually do not advance the cause that many people who have reached out to us with good intentions and goodwill seek to do. And as I said last week, I think it's really important for everyone on this committee, regardless of their political party, to denounce those views, to denounce the misogyny, the racism, the hate that has come from a lot of folks on the extreme right who are using using the work of others to be able to carry legal firearms as to promote some other sort of rhetoric of hate. And so I hope that we'll all be able to do that together.
Why do you think that those are okay versus what the government is trying to do?
Because I have a shotgun and rifle that I use and 22 gauge that I use for ptarmigan, moose, and black bear. They're traditional guns that I've had, some from my father all my life, and I know many hunters that have it's like I said to you before.
Which is to just get some clarity for folks out there that are watching this and have been bombarded by messages that the government is coming, that I believe there was some narrative out there that the Bloc, the NDP, and the Liberals are coming for every single hunting rifle and shotgun out there, and we've made it clear time and again that we are not, that is not the intention. We have heard from folks who have expressed real concerns about the content and the context. And so what I'd like to be able to do is we've been asking a lot of very specific, very technical questions about specific makes and models. And if the effort to hear from other witnesses is something that others wish to partake in, I think that's an important step. I know others have been asking for it, and we hope that this step will take us to that place. We want to make sure that we work collaboratively to make sure that there are no guns that are commonly used for hunting captured within these proposed amendments. We're listening to Canadians, and we're going to get this right. But it's an important piece of legislation, and we need to do our part. We're listening to Canadians, and we're going to get this right. I have been saying that, my colleagues have been saying that since the beginning of this. And again, we may have different approaches, but I think the intention is the same.
Mr. Speaker, on this side of the House, over the past 7 years, we've continually moved forward on strengthening gun control in this country. And that's exactly what we announced yesterday, making it no longer legal, as of the passage of that legislation, to buy, sell, import, or transfer handguns in Canada.
Is that the first step towards registering your guns is just the first step towards taking away guns from everyone. That's never going to happen.
He's lying. I don't believe that he ever says a word that's true.
On top of that, the assault weapon ban that we brought in place 2 years ago is going to be matched with a mandatory buyback. These are measures that are going to keep our communities safe, measures the Conservatives vote against because they're against gun control.
Very honourable member.
The Prime Minister is misleading Canadians. Bill C-5 and the other measures by this Liberal government are failing to keep our communities safe. They are putting them at risk. If they wanted to stop gun violence, they'd put more resources to border agents to stop gun smuggling. Right. They'd put more resources to police to stop violent criminals with guns. They'd put more resources for anti-gang community groups to divert youth from a life of crime. That's how you stop gun violence, not useless gun bans or bills like Bill C-21 that will do nothing to stop gun violence in this country. Isn't that right, Mr. Speaker?
Just get some clarity for folks out there that are watching this and have been bombarded by messages that the government is coming, that I believe there was some narrative out there that the Bloc, the NDP, and the Liberals are coming for every single hunting rifle and shotgun out there, and we've made it clear time and again that we are not. That is not the intention. We've all